Welcome back to the Deep Book Dive, Jess.
Yes!
Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into Michelle Obama's memoir, Becoming.
Okay.
This book chronicles her life,
Uh-huh.
from her childhood in Chicago to her time as First Lady.
Right.
But we're not just looking at, historical events here.
Yeah.
Our mission is to uncover those aha moments, and those insights into her personal development, her relationship with Barack, and how her views on race, class, and opportunity in America evolved over time.
Yeah, and she starts the book in a really unexpected way, not with a grand political moment, but with a simple act of toasting bread.
Okay, so she's finally out of the White House after 8 years, and she's making toast. Yeah, what's the big deal?
Well, think about it. For 8 years, she had staff for everything.
Oh, yeah.
And the first thing she does is describe this intense hunger for something as ordinary as making toast.
Right.
It's a powerful way to show just how much she craved reclaiming her own life and agency.
That's a great point. It sets the stage for understanding her need to define herself outside of the roles she's played, even as First Lady. So where does this yearning for agency come from?
Okay.
Let's go back to her roots.
Let's go back.
What was her childhood like?
Her childhood home was a small apartment above her Aunt Robbie's place.
Okay.
On the south side of Chicago.
Okay, interesting.
And Aunt Robbie was a huge influence, constantly drilling piano students downstairs.
Aunt Robbie sounds a bit intimidating. Was she a positive influence on a young Michelle?
Well, Michelle describes her as a bit of a terror. Strict, exacting, with incredibly high standards.
Wow.
Imagine this constant sound of piano scales and stirring reprimands echoing up into their apartment.
Wow. Talk about pressure. Did that strictness rub off on Michelle?
It definitely shaped her, but not necessarily in the way you'd expect.
Okay.
Years later, she discovered a shocking detail.
Okay.
Aunt Robbie had actually sued Northwestern University back in the 1940s for racial discrimination.
Wait, tell me more about that.
Robbie was denied a room in the women's dorm simply because of her race.
Wow.
She is told to stay in a colored rooming house off campus.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine the injustice?
Yeah.
This seemingly proper and strict woman had been fighting against deep-seated racism long before Michelle was even born.
That's a powerful connection.
Yeah.
It shows that the fight for equality was woven into the fabric of Michelle's life from a very early age.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how much that experience with Aunt Robbie shaped her own awareness of racial injustice.
Yeah, it's a hidden history that adds a whole new layer to understanding Michelle's background and values.
Right.
And it's even more remarkable considering that Michelle's childhood was filled with music.
Yeah.
This joyful, vibrant expression of her community.
That's right. Yeah, music seemed to be a constant source of comfort and connection for her, especially in a city known for its incredible jazz scene.
Exactly. She even talks about how in her family, music was a language of its own.
Okay.
A way to express emotions and connect with one another. It's fascinating to see how these seemingly contrasting forces, the strictness of Aunt Robbie's world and the vibrancy of music, shaped her early development.
It sounds like a push and pull between discipline and freedom, maybe.
Exactly. And you see this tension play out even in her piano lessons with Aunt Robbie.
Oh, well.
Michelle wasn't afraid to challenge her aunt's strict rules,
really
showing a streak of independence even then.
Then were her parents okay with that?
They actually encouraged it.
Wow.
They saw her feistiness and willingness to question authority as a positive trait. They wanted her to keep that flame alive.
That's great.
You can see how their parenting style fostered her sense of self-worth.
Yeah.
And encouraged her to speak her mind.
That's a great point. It reminds me of another story from her childhood.
Yeah.
The kindergarten do-over incident.
Oh, yeah.
She demanded a second chance after messing up while reading color cards.
It speaks volumes about her determination to excel even at a young age.
Right.
But goes beyond just perfectionism. Later, she reflects on how, even as children, we know when we're being underestimated.
That's true.
It's a subtle but insightful observation that hints at her future passion for education and youth empowerment.
It seems like Michelle was always attuned to fairness and recognizing potential in others.
Yeah.
Even back then.
And
speaking of recognizing potential, let's talk about the impact of her father.
Yes, her father played a huge role in shaping her values.
In what way?
He had multiple sclerosis.
Okay.
But never wanted to be seen as helpless.
Wow.
That stoicism had a profound impact on Michelle's outlook on life.
It's amazing how he refused to let his illness define him.
Yeah,
But how did that translate into everyday life?
well, she tells this story about family fire drills.
Okay.
He insisted on practicing rescuing him, despite his physical limitation. Really, it was his way of refusing to give in and demonstrating his unwavering work ethic.
Wow, what a powerful message to send to his daughter.
Yeah.
That kind of resilience must have been incredibly inspiring.
Absolutely, and it's clear that his example left a lasting impression on Michelle.
Yeah.
It instilled in her a deep sense of responsibility, hard work, and determination.
So we've got this foundation of musicality, a strong sense of self, and her father's example of resilience.
Yeah.
How did all of that come together as she navigated the world outside her family?
Well, that's where we start to see how race and class played a significant role in her development.
Yeah.
And we'll dive into that
after a quick break. Sounds good. So we've been talking about the influences that shaped Michelle Obama's early life, her family, her community, and her growing awareness of the complexities of race and class in America. How did those experiences shape her educational journey?
Michelle talks about a critical article in the Chicago Defender, yet slammed her elementary school Bryn Mawr.
Oh, well.
But she paints a completely different picture.
Okay.
She remembers a dedicated principal and teachers who truly cared about their students.
That's interesting, a clash between public perception and personal experience.
Exactly. It highlights how narratives about place can be so powerful.
Yeah.
Even if they don't capture the full reality.
Right.
Michelle challenges that one-dimensional view of her school.
It sounds like she learned early on to question assumptions and look beyond the surface.
Absolutely. And this ability to think critically becomes even more important.
Okay.
As she navigates the world of higher education.
Yeah.
Attending the prestigious Whitney Young Magnet High School exposed her to a whole new level of privilege.
She talks about feeling small among her high-achieving classmates,
Right.
many of whom came from wealthier backgrounds.
Yeah.
It must have been a jarring experience after her time at Bryn Mawr.
It was suddenly she's acutely aware of the apparatus of privilege that surrounds her.
Oh, wow.
She sees classmates with designer purses, family connections, and access to resources she never had.
And how does she react to that?
She admits to feeling some anxiety about fitting in, about the limitations imposed by her background.
Yeah.
The long commute to Whitney Young became a daily reminder of this divide.
Yeah.
Traveling from her working class neighborhood to this elite school world.
So it was more than just the academic challenge. I was navigating a whole new social and economic landscape.
Exactly. And she realized that certain opportunities, so if you have after-school programs, that teetering the connections that came so easily to her wealthier peers, or like half-hidden ladders to success.
Yeah, that's a powerful image. But despite those challenges, Michelle excelled academically, even setting her sights on Princeton University.
That decision raised eyebrows. Remember the story about the college counselor who doubted her chances?
Oh, yeah.
It's a perfect example of how limiting expectations can be.
Right.
Especially for someone from an underrepresented background.
It's a reminder that we all carry biases.
Yes.
Often without even realizing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Michelle, however, refused to be defined by those doubts. She owned her story.
Good for her.
Writing a powerful essay about her father's MS and her family's lack of experience with higher education.
Wow.
It was a bold move that clearly paid off.
It seems like she learned early on the importance of embracing her unique perspective.
Yeah.
Not trying to fit into someone else's mold.
Exactly.
And that same authenticity shines through when she meets Barack Obama.
Their meeting at the law firm is almost a classic rom-com setup.
Okay.
The accomplished young lawyer and the brilliant summer associate.
You'd think it was love at first sight.
Not quite. Michelle was initially very hesitant to date Barack, mainly because he was her summer associate advisee.
Oh, interesting.
You see her strong sense of professionalism and her reluctance to mix personal and professional life.
Always the pragmatist. So how did their relationship develop?
Well, their first date is pretty revealing. They disagreed about marriage.
Uh-oh.
Then ended up getting ice cream at Baskin-Robbins.
Oh, that's cute.
It's a funny anecdote, but it also highlights the different approaches to commitment. Michelle, the traditionalist, and Barack, less concerned with the formality of marriage.
It tells like they challenge each other's assumptions from the very beginning.
They definitely pushed each other to think differently and beyond their differing views on marriage.
Okay.
They also navigated different career paths and aspirations.
Oh, wow.
Michelle wrestled with the desire to leave corporate law and find work that was more fulfilling.
I can imagine that decision wasn't easy, especially considering her family background.
It wasn't. She even talks about her mother's pragmatic advice.
What was that?
Make the money first and worry about your happiness later.
Wow.
It's a struggle so many people face.
Yeah, for sure.
Balancing practicality with passion, financial security with finding meaning in their work.
It's that classic conflict between what you should do and what your heart tells you to do.
Exactly.
And of course, their story doesn't end there.
Right. Their paths twist and turn.
Okay.
Leading into parenthood and eventually to the world of politics.
And it's in those new roles that we see Michelle truly come into her own. What are some of the key moments that stand out to you in this next phase of their journey?
Ooh.
So we left off with Michelle and Barack navigating the challenges of marriage, parenthood, and demanding careers.
Right.
What's fascinating is how Michelle takes on these new roles while still staying true to herself.
It's a period marked by immense joy.
Yeah.
They welcome their daughters, Malia and Sasha,
Yeah.
but also by significant sacrifices.
Okay.
Especially as Barack's political career takes off.
She's incredibly open about the struggles of balancing work and motherhood.
Yeah.
Especially with Barack's demanding schedule as a state senator.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of parents can relate to that feeling of constantly juggling responsibilities.
Absolutely. She talks about this Thursday night, where Barack would commute home late, disrupting their family routines.
Oh, well.
It caused a lot of friction.
It's a reminder that even the most successful couples face those everyday challenges
Yeah.
of trying to find balance.
And it wasn't just about scheduling, it was about communication.
Yeah.
About making sure their needs as a family were met even amidst the chaos of politics.
Life.
They had to make conscious adjustments to strengthen their bond.
It sounds like Michelle was determined to create a sense of normalcy for her daughters, despite the upheaval of political life.
Exactly. And for Michelle, part of that normalcy involved finding fulfilling work outside the home.
Yeah.
She landed a job at the University of Chicago hospitals, which allowed her to contribute to her community while still being present for her daughters.
It's inspiring to see how she created a space for herself.
Yeah.
That combined her passion for service with her responsibilities as a mother.
She became a role model, not just for her daughters, but for working women everywhere.
And then, of course, Barack decides to run for president.
Right. It's a huge turning point in their lives.
Yeah, huge.
And Michelle initially resisted the idea, really worried about the impact on their family.
Her hesitation is so understandable.
Yeah.
She knew firsthand the sacrifices involved, the constant scrutiny, and the potential upheaval to their lives.
Right.
She was fiercely protective of her family's normalcy.
Yet she eventually embraces the challenge, becoming a powerful voice on the campaign trail.
What's remarkable is how she navigated the often harsh realities of being a Black woman in the public eye.
Yeah.
She faced racist and sexist attacks, initially struggling to respond effectively. But then there's this pivotal moment when she decides to own her voice and speak authentically.
Yes, it's so empowering to witness that shift.
Yes.
She refuses to be silenced or defined by others' perception. She embraces her intelligence, her strength, and her unique perspective.
And that authenticity resonates with people across America.
It does.
She becomes a symbol of hope, resilience, and the power of women's voices.
Absolutely.
Then comes life in the White House, a whole new set of challenges and triumphs. She talks candidly about the bubble of security, the loss of normalcy, and the constant pressure of being in the public eye.
But even in that environment, she finds ways to stay grounded.
That's great.
She makes a conscious effort to democratize the White House, making it feel less formal and more accessible.
Yeah, I like that.
Remember her White House garden project?
Philia.
It was a way for her to connect with her role.
Yeah.
Promote healthy eating and find a sense of grounding amidst the political chaos.
And who could forget that hilarious anecdote about meeting Queen Elizabeth?
It's a reminder that despite the extraordinary circumstances, they were still a family trying to navigate the ups and downs of life.
Exactly.
And throughout it all, Michelle championed important initiatives, especially for military families, drawing on her own experiences to advocate for education and health.
She inspires countless young people.
She does.
Particularly girls and minorities.
Yeah.
So what does all of this mean?
Right.
What are the key takeaways from Michelle Obama's becoming?
Well, Michelle Obama's story, it is one of resilience, transformation, and the unwavering belief in the power of hope and hard work.
Yeah.
It's a testament to the importance of finding your voice, embracing your authenticity, and using your platform to make a difference in the world.
Her journey is both deeply personal and universally relatable.
Yeah.
We see her evolve from a young girl on the south side of Chicago to a global icon.
Right.
And throughout it all, she remains grounded, compassionate,
Mm-hmm.
and fiercely dedicated to her family and her values.
Becoming is more than just a memoir, it's a call to action, an invitation to reflect on our own journeys, and to strive for a world where everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential.
What resonated most with you from Michelle Obama's story? How can you apply her lessons of resilience, authenticity, and service to your own life? We encourage you to check out Becoming and continue exploring these things for yourself. You won't be disappointed.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Michelle Obama's Becoming.